Hi everyone, I hope everybody had a good week. I just got back from Broadway camp put on by Broadway Weekends, and Gina DeWall runs it and started it, and it's in New York in Times Square. So this week's chapters were really relevant to Broadway camp and my experience that I had there. The first chapter on pacing and timing and tempo was hugely correlated to what I learned a lot about in Broadway camp this weekend. We had the chance to go see Stereophonic, so included in our package, we went to go see the play Stereophonic that won the Tony Award for Best Play, Best Direction, all of that. And it was 3 hours long, but it felt like it was not 3 hours long. And when it did feel like it was 3 hours long, it was actually very purposeful because the pacing, the timing, and the tempo made it so that you're a fly on the wall, basically, of this rock band trying to produce an album. And you're going through all of the trials and tribulations of that. You're going through all of the awkward, uncomfortable places, all the really tense places, all the places where they want to get this moving and get this album produced, but there's all these things that are getting in the way and slowing it down, and it's not happening. And it was so precise, their timing and their tempo, that it worked extremely well. And we were fortunate enough to have the associate director of Stereophonic come and workshop with us afterwards. And she talked a lot about tempo and pacing and timing. And when they were in previews and when they were in playwrights off Broadway, they really fine-tuned that. One of the things that the playwright did not want was for anything to be cut. So they would say, oh, it should be 20 to 30 minutes shorter. And he said, no, that it's not going to, we're not cutting anything. We're keeping this all in. How are you going to make this exciting? And how are you going to make this work within what I have? And it flowed with some of the objectives of the characters in the play, specifically the female lead, Diana. She's kind of like your Stevie Nicks character, if you will. And it went along with that, where she has this really long song. It's about, I think, 6 minutes long, and the band wants to cut it. And she keeps saying, no, I'm not cutting it, and I'm not yielding. And that caused a lot of rifts within herself and her husband, Peter, and all of that. Very akin to Fleetwood Mac. So it was incredible to see pacing, timing, tempo, all of that within this incredible play that was 3 hours long, and to see how it could work. Those long, uncomfortable pauses, the long, uncomfortable stares, the quicken pace of it, people talking over each other. So the playwright was extremely specific. I've never seen a play so specific. So we got 25 pages of the script to workshop through with the associate director, and every double slash was somebody talking over somebody else. And the way that it's set up, there's the recording studio that's upstage, and then downstage there is the actual studio itself, the soundboard, the kind of lounging area. And there's things going on in both places at the same time. So it's this frenetic pace in the beginning where you've got the sound people setting up, you've got the actors in the back that are the bandmates getting ready to play, you're getting stops and starts. The timing is crazy. I can't imagine what it took for the director to pull this off. It's no wonder he won Best Direction, Daniel, and it was amazing. It also reminded me a lot of some of those moment by moment creations that we do with people, and how we make them natural and how we make them real with the tempo and the timing. So we did this wonderful workshop with Charlie Sutton where he went through moment by moment choreography almost to music of everyday activities, like getting ready in the morning or getting into a car, or you're sitting in a restaurant and meeting somebody for the first time, and where everything is set to a beat and to a time. So, you sit on one, or you stand on two, you reach for three, you pull on four, and becomes this beautiful choreographed almost dance that you're doing with these everyday activities. So that really got me into the timing and the pacing and the tempo. And I cannot wait to play around with so many of the things that I learned at this workshop. And also we had Sam, she is a director. She talked about the pacing and the timing in everything that we do and how important that really is as a director. And when we're breaking down songs for musical theater, where do we put those pieces? Where do we put the emphasis? Where do we put the pauses and all of that? And it was really amazing. And then in the last chapter, one of the things that I really took away was the benign neglect about, things that are just happening, and you don't need to call out every single thing that's happening. You want to really pick the salient pieces so you can focus more on the larger issues, and you really want to look for patterns, right? So is this something that just came up today? Is it something that's happening every day and I need to address it? Those types of things, so that we're not sitting there nitpicking, which I can tend to do as a director, nitpicking every last thing and stopping and starting and stopping and starting and stopping and starting. And it was really helpful to workshop with the associate director of Stereophonic about that. She said the same thing, that we asked her, what's your note-taking process? And she basically said at this point, it's really the big stuff. So she'll sit in the house once a week, and then she'll kind of track it. Like, is this something that's happening over and over? Is it taking away from audience experience? If it's not, we're gonna let it go. It's an actor choice, that type of thing. So I really appreciated that. I highly recommend everybody do a Broadway weekend camp. They have a 2-day camp and a 5-day camp, and I did the 2-day. It was phenomenal. There were a lot of theater educators there. It was very supportive. We got the chance to be creative. We learned the dance for one of the dances in The Great Gatsby from a swing performer. Everybody that talked to us is working. They're all working actors or directors, choreographers, etc. And it was an amazing experience. So I highly recommend it. My cup is all full after this weekend. And if you want more information, you can look it up on BroadwayWeekends.com. Anyway, I hope everybody had a good weekend and everybody has a good week to come.